Mm. Hello, welcome everybody to our 5 days to hair and skin healing. And I am your host, Poonam Jain, who will be with you for these next 5 days to help you transform your energies in regards to your skin and with regards to your hair so that you start achieving the goals that you're looking for in terms of your own health with this particular area perspective. So just because there are a lot of new people on the call, and that's why I thought I will just give a quick introduction about who I am so you know about it, and then I would talk about what we are covering in our session, what generally the duration is going to be like. So just to give a quick introduction, I am Poonam Jain and I am on a mission to help 1 million plus people to live a happy, healthy, abundant, and a prosperous life. I have got myself certified on the certifications with regards to energy healing, life coaching, and have over 20 plus years of experience doing the energy healing along with my corporate career, which is primarily into the IT field. And as of today, I have almost 200,000 plus hours of coaching, healing with me along with different countries. So I have my clients and I have been to different countries where I have been healing as well as been into life coaching across almost 10 countries is what you can see on the screen at the moment. So yes, I have been, and I have my clients across India, UK, USA, Poland, Canada, Germany, Dubai, Netherlands, France, Italy, Norway, and many more to go is what I'm looking forward to add across. So my objective is to reach out to 1 million people across the globe, helping them to transform their energies. So that's where I am a master neuro-linguistic practitioner. I have done my certifications in business and executive coaching from International Coaching Federation. This is one of the well-known institute with regards to the coaching. I am also an internationally certified vision board coach, which means I help each one of you to transform your energies to achieve what you want. So bring that clarity of how you have to take further your goals. And I have also written 2 books. Both of them are published internationally, available on Amazon. And Purple is my book, which is also been 2019 Amazon Editor's Pick. So this is quite a brief about who I am and who is your trainer with whom you're going to be connected with for the next 5 days. So welcome everybody for this session. And let me also give you a quick idea of what we are going to cover across in the next 5 days. So today's session, we are going to focus primarily on understanding and identifying your blockages associated with your hair and skin, because that's where we are focusing around. And that's the reason I said, go ahead and get your notepads, pen, paper, because you will have to start putting in the information with regards to your blockages. Primary reason being because when we are going to day 2, where we are going to do the group distance healing along with mudra healing. So I would be giving group distance healing to each one of you because I know what you are working on and what are the things that you're looking forward for. Along with the mudra healing is what we are going to do on day 2. Day 3, we are going to do the group distance healing. So in all the days, I would be giving distance healing to each one of you. So it will be a guided healing session. Then we are going to do on day 3, distance healing plus mudra healing plus affirmations. On day 4, we are going to do again the group distance healing plus mudra healing and creative visualization. And on the day 5, we are going to do all of what we have spoken about, the group distance healing, mudra healing, affirmations, creative visualizations, and what is going to be your next steps for you to make sure that you continue with whatever you are learning here. Let me also bring to your knowledge that if anybody is undergoing any medical treatment at the moment, then that treatment needs to still continue, because there isn't anything that I'm recommending here to replace your medical treatment. So please be aware that you continue with your medical treatment the way it is. Let your doctor decide how the treatment has to go. What we are doing here, it is a complementary to whatever your medical treatments are happening. So we are going to work here more on your energy field, your aura, your mental and emotional blocks, so that you start releasing them sooner. And the moment you start releasing them sooner, you are able to take things forward and also accelerate in case if you are undergoing any medical treatment. But that's one thing which I want to highlight. And that's the thing which each one of you will have to take care of during the sessions. And whatever we are doing is a kickstart. It's a beginning of your journey for the 5 days of your hair and skin healing. There would be recorded versions of the session also available. So you can keep repeating and listening to it as we talk about the next steps. But my recommendation to you all is, please make sure that you attend all of these 5 days to get the energy shifts and see the transformation happening, and also to understand how you need to take these things forward for your own benefit. So if you all are excited to start your journey for hair and skin healing, I would want you to type E in the chat window, so I know that all of you are super excited to take things forward. Thanks, Sonali, Devi Bala, Sumitra, Chirag, Kirti, Sadhna, Saili, Tejaswani, Amita, Ketki. Fantastic. That's wonderful. So it's so nice to see all of this. And yes, people who are new, that's my style of making sure that all of you are engaged. At the moment, all of you are on a mute. So the session goes on without any disturbances for others. And in case if you have any questions, I stay back after this session for additional 5-10 minutes so that you can ask your questions. And in case if you still have any questions, you can reach out to me on the WhatsApp number mentioned on the screen. Please make sure that you save my number, because I would be broadcasting the messages daily, because today there were a couple of them who had not saved my number, so the messages did not reach to you. So please save my number. I'm going to send it on the WhatsApp as a broadcast for the daily meeting invite and any activities or things which are being provided to you. So that's where we are going to do. Our sessions will last between 30 to 40 minutes maximum is what. So please keep your time duration accordingly so that you can attend the session with full focus. And then you go to sleep, and people who are outside of India will have their good evening, their rest of the day getting passed on. So let us start with day one. In case if you would have any questions or anything, you can put it on the chat window and I will reply to it as I get connected with it. So it's so nice to see people joining in. We have actually 105 participants who have registered, and let's see how many continue today and how many of them stay until all the 5 days of the session. So fantastic. So let's move on to the day one. Now, one thing which I want to let you know is that whenever we are talking about any physical problem that we are facing in terms of our hair or in terms of skin or any other problems, in the energy world, the problem originates 90% or more than that primarily because of some emotional blockages within yourself. Okay, so everything in the energy world is in and around you. So we are working here to change you as a person, to change your energies, not the energies of a person who is sitting next to you, or not to somebody else who is within your home, or probably you feel that because of this person these are the things. No, whatever we are working is on you as an individual. So please focus on that perspective. And any physical problems that you are facing at the moment with regards to your hair and skin, its origination is associated with one or the other emotional blockage. And from that perspective, what we are going to look on our day one is focusing on the emotional blockage aspect of things. Now, I did go through the pointers that all of you have mentioned, and I have summarized here. So We'll go one by one, and that's why I want you to take your notepad and your pen, keep it in your hand ready, because you need to write what I'm asking you and then put that, because that is what will help us for the healings that we are going to do. So if you're ready with your notepad and pen, just type NP in the chat window so I know that you have your notepad and pen with you. And we are all ready. Great, Sakshi, Devi Bala, Padmapriya, Anju, Tejaswini, Ketki. Wow. Fantastic. So it's great to see each one of you ready with this. Good. So the first thing that I want you to write is, because a few of you had only skin related things to be worked upon. A few of you had both skin and hair, and a few of you had only with regards to your hair. So I want you to title what you are working for in this next 5 days. If in this next 5 days, if you are focusing on skin or hair or both the areas, just go ahead and write as a title, because we are going to work on identifying your blocks right now. Okay. Because as I said, there is an emotional aspect of things. Okay, Vanita, so just go ahead and write about both, because when we are talking about the blocks, specifically from an emotional perspective, I would want you to write those blocks as well. So these are your blockages which are going to cause, which are causing the problems and issues with your health. Okay. So the first thing with regards to your skin, if you are facing any dry or dull skin, rashes, white or black patches, wrinkles, early aging is what you feel, some allergy, acne, pimples, dark circles, or some kind of like exposure to sun causing burns, because a few of you had this problems that the more you are exposed to the sun, there is the burns that happen. And since childhood, there are a few of you who have problems since childhood with regards to skin. And then the doctors have said that over the period of time it should get corrected, but it is still not. Well, that's great, Kirti, to see both of you joining in. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, Sarita. So hair is what we'll talk about it as well. So from a skin perspective, if you have any of these problem, what I want you to do is, the way I have written here in a table format, just the specific problem that you have, write that down into the problem table. So just go ahead and write. So the first area that we are working right now is on skin. And in the problem area, I have listed the summary of what most of you are facing with. But in case if there is something, just pick up what is relevant to you and write that down, because the next part that we are going to work on is identifying what probably is going to be your emotional block. Now, this is a group thing that we are doing. So the emotional blocks for most of you would vary, but on a general level, you should also be able to connect to what exactly it is going to be for you. Okay. So if you are facing any anxiety or fear, or you feel that there is old beliefs that are being there, so if at any point of time, if you have felt that I am just stuck in my life, there is nothing that I can do about my life, I have this fear of how am I going to live my life, just write that down if you feel any of these things. Because if you are feeling that there is any anxiety, fear, you feel that I really don't know how I'm going to take my life further, just go ahead and write that as a part of your cause, because that's the blockage for your respective skin disease. And in case if you're not able to connect, we will talk about the next one. The next part talks about that there are a few set of people who deliberately start hurting themselves. Now, how do you How do you really work on hurting yourself? Yes, Sumitra. Yes, Bhavna, if that's the case, just go ahead and write. And yes, Sumitra, the first one that I said is if you're feeling anxiety, fear, or if you're feeling that I don't know how am I going to live my life, just write that because if any of these pointers are connected, write that down because that's your block. Okay. The second part that I was talking about is at any point of time, if you have felt that you're hurting yourself, and how do you hurt? There are certain set of people who will hurt themselves physically. They hurt themselves physically. They get angry on somebody, or they're not able to do their things as per what they're looking for. They just go ahead and bang their head, bang their hands, or they keep walking like with heavy feet, banging their feet on the floor. So indirectly, you are hurting yourself physically over there. In terms of an emotional perspective, what happens is how do you hurt yourself? In terms of an emotional perspective, if at all you're not able to express yourself, you keep your thoughts, you keep your talks within yourself, you feel like always crying. Okay, so that's another aspect of how you are hurting yourself emotionally. So if you felt connected with any of these things, that you keep hurting yourself on purpose, deliberately, just because you're not able, just because probably what you want is not happening, or somebody's not behaving as per what you're looking for, you just have to go ahead and talk about this, because these are your root causes at an emotional front of why you are facing a lot of your skin related issues. Okay, and that denotes how it is really going to impact your life at an emotional level, because any problem that starts off in our life is associated with an emotional problem. And if we are under an emotional problem, our cortisol levels, our stress level starts increasing. And the moment the stress level starts increasing, it pops up as different diseases, it pops up as different emotions, and we start getting our emotional mental health problems, and then it starts also materializing in physical health. So that's how the channel works. And before we get into a healing part of it, we need to understand what is our cause. In case if there is somebody who feels that they're not able to identify, even after we complete this session, that I'm not still able to identify what is the cause, you can send me a message and on the WhatsApp, and then we can talk about it. But I'm 100% sure most of you will, or almost everyone will find the cause for it as we are getting into a little detail. So that's the second part, where we talk about deliberately hurting yourself physically or emotionally. A lot of you have also spoken about acne and pimples and those aspects. So that is associated with your own inner anger. That means you hate yourself, you don't like yourself. When would that happen? Many times that would happen when you don't like the way you are looking. So whatever way you are right now, and if somebody comments to you saying that, hey, you don't look good, you don't look beautiful, you don't look handsome, you are not the right person, and this is what it doesn't look like, then slowly and gradually what happens is you start creating this emotional block within yourself, and there is a lot of anger that starts building in, and then you don't like yourself, you don't love yourself, and that's where your anger starts building in internally. So if you feel that you are angry on yourself, that multiple times we keep telling to ourselves that I feel so angry on myself that I'm not able to do this, I hate myself because I'm not able to get this, I don't like this because this is what I don't do it. So if you are saying this kind of dialogues to yourself at any point of time in your life, even today or in the past, just go ahead and write that, saying that it is my inner anger, I hate myself, I don't like myself. That's the other part of your cause. Okay, so just go ahead and please write it, because we have almost 59-60 participants, and I would be expecting that all of you send that a screenshot to me on my WhatsApp number, so I know that you are doing this activity, and it's really been working perfectly fine for each one of you. So please do that activity. This is very important, because when I will give healing sessions for the next second, third, fourth, and fifth day, it will help. So that's the third part. Now, the fourth part is when you're feeling any allergic, or if you are feeling that you're not able to, when you get into sun and you are not able to bear the heat, or you have certain other sunburns or allergies happening, then it talks about that you are intolerant of other people, and there is a lot of blame game that starts happening. So it's about blaming others or events for your situations or your own power. Let me tell you that each one of us has the power to do everything that we want to. It's just our choice that we choose and how we prioritize our life. So I understand in certain situations, a lot of you might say that that's because the situation was that I had to focus on my family, friends, parents, relatives, spouse, and other XYZ things. But if you have made that as your choice with your heart, you will definitely not feel those annoying things. You will not be irritated or angry. But if you have made those choices out of force, because there is nothing else to do, then you will start seeing that aggravation increasing for you. And that's where your intolerance to other people, blaming others for your own power mismatches or certain things will start coming in. So if you feel that you are connected with any of these, just write it down. It's very important during our sessions for healing. A lot of you mentioned about dark circles. So this can be dark circles under your eyes, dark circles or dark patches on your skin at any of your body parts. Then there are 2 to 3 aspects associated with it. One, it talks about that there are certain emotions of the past emotions, and then they are getting triggered again. So something happened in your past, something happened in your childhood, or something happened in your past and in your current life, or in last 1 or 2 years, something has come back to trigger that. So for example, in the childhood, you did not have, say, a good relation with your siblings, with your brothers and sisters, just as an example. So in that case, and then just as time passed by, things went on, and then you were like, okay, fine, things are okay. But then after just in last couple of years, again, your connection starts happening with your siblings, and then you start realizing that in the childhood, there were certain things which did not really work well, and now they are getting triggered. So then you have not let go of your past aspects, and you have started releasing your emotions, and you have started feeling that those tears need to be shed out. But that is not happening, and that's where these certain patches start happening around. Then it also relates back to, this can also relate to certain issues which are upsetting you in your current life, and probably you have not spoken about it to anyone. So either emotions of your past or emotions of your current life is something which is not being able to express, and that's where you are getting these uneasy feelings, and then these dark circles and things coming in. So in a nutshell, and as we move on to the next part of the table, so as you see down in the second table out here, if you are having any of these skin reactions like hives, allergic reactions, itching, inflammations, so that is the primary emotion for that is extreme anger or anxiety. Okay, so if you find that it's getting connected, just write anger, anxiety is causing it. If you are facing a lot of rashes and redness, then it is anxiety which is causing it. If you have psoriasis, flare-up, acne, eczema, then it is your increased stress levels which are causing these things in your life. Too much of rashes and inflammation, another trigger could also be some traumatic event which has happened in your life and you have not been able to overcome. You might you feel that you have overcome it, but somewhere subconsciously it is still hitting in your mind. So that's where your rashes and inflammation part comes into. If you feel redness, rosacea, flushing of skins happening, then it's more about your high emotions of most and any kind of emotions. Negative emotions are a lot into your body. If you feel a lot of dryness, because a lot of you had this concern of your dry skin and dull skin, I would say almost 90% of participants had this concern. So it is associated with your long-term stress, depression, or sadness could be indications for it. So that's where your dryness, flakiness, dullness, dry skin, long-term stress, depression, sadness, or suppressed or unacknowledged anger. So as I said, there are a lot of things going on in your mind. You need to talk about it. You need to let go of it, but you're not able to express it, because if you express, you don't know how things will work out in your life. Whether it's a work environment, whether it's a family environment, or whether it's your friends and relatives or relationships. So from a skin perspective, these are the key things. And when we talk about hair as well, indirectly, whatever we have spoken about the skin aspects are the ones which really bring in a lot of connection. So just go ahead and take some time, write it down, and we'll talk about the hair part also. So from a hair part, it was, for a lot of you, it was like dry hair, no hair, gray hairs. So let me tell you, don't bother yourself about the gray hair thing getting in, like, okay, it's like early age gray hairs coming in, and what it would relate to. From a hair perspective, the key root cause from an emotional perspective is your stress, and you are under a lot of mental pressure for whatever work you're doing, be it your family work, be it your housework, be it your office work. That is what is relating to it. And it also results, if you're having a lot of hair fall and no hair growth happening, it is associated with a lot of fear and mistrust on the process of life, like how my life is going. There's fear associated with it. I do not have control of my life. And that's where you are looking forward to get the control of your life, and you're trying to bring that aspects in. So that's the emotional part of your hair thing. Stress is primarily the key thing. A lot of mental pressure, that's the second part. The third is the fear aspect. The fourth is that you're not trusting your life the way it is going at the moment. For you, it is like you are probably not in control of your life, not in control of the things happening around you. And that's where this part of your hair issues start happening. So just I'll be silent for a couple of minutes so that you connect with it. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask me. So Disha, if you are getting it as per the weather, the pimples coming in, of course, it can be associated with your physical aspect. The second part which you have brought in, and it's really good. Thanks a lot, Disha. The second part is the transition of the environment. Okay, so the transition of the weathers. So you may not be comfortable with the change happening in the environment, and that's the reason you have this problem associated with the pimples coming in. Okay, because that or some hidden aspect of yours associated with that particular weather is also another probable reason that could be there. Yeah, because as I said, that's associated with an inner anger, hatred, not accepting yourself. So possibility is that in that particular weather, certain emotions get triggered within you from an emotional perspective, and this would then cause your weather specific issues coming in. Yeah. Siley, for the acne, the key cause is your inner anger, hatred, not liking yourself, not accepting yourself the way you are. That's the key cause of acne. And if you are having this specific to weather, as Disha mentioned, then it is something associated with that particular weather which triggers an emotional aspects of yours. Of course, as I said in the beginning of the session, we are talking more from an emotional perspective. Your physical health, other like your eating habits, your your exercise and other things definitely would also play an important role, but we are focusing more from an emotional perspective to let things go ahead. Yes, it can also be one of the reasons can also be less sleep or in not having sufficient or peaceful sleep. That can also be there because that's one of the things which we have mentioned, because if you are under stress, your sleep could also be a problem. Yes, Sonali, it can be. Okay, so skin and hair issues due to a lot of hormone changes and due to medication too. Yes, that's absolutely right. You may have that because of the medications that you're taking, but indirectly you also have to see why are you taking so many medications for your other treatments that are probably would be happening around. So there would be an underlying cause for that which needs to really work around. So in order to categorize this, so what I would say is right now, don't bring that other aspects of your medication aspect of things. But in case if there are a lot of hormonal changes happening and then it is causing it, it's primarily associated with anxiety, fear, and all buried emotions which are not being out. So that's where I would want you to categorize your skin and hair issues, Sonali. So Bhavna, we are, whatever we are talking about is associated with the energy healings. And in the next day, 2, 3, 4, 5, we are going to talk about how you can work with your energies to take things forward. So that's something which definitely would be there. Then we are, yeah, so that's where you will get to know. Okay, so yeah, we'll just go ahead onto the next slide as well, because a few of you had specific like, okay, so this particular area of my face is causing some problem, then what it would be. So Amita and Aditi, you will get an answer to your question in the next slide. And Sarita, patches on hair. So the first thing is stress, too much of mental strain. Second is associated with fear. So if you have patches which is stopping the growth of hair, then it is primarily associated with stress, mental pressure, not trusting the process of your life. So wanting to connect and take control of things, but probably due to whatever circumstances, if you're not able to do the way things you want to, then you're losing the control. So that's where your part of these things come in. Just so we just move on to the next part of the slide. Now, this is something which is a very fantastic thing. And while I do the healings to my clients, this is a map with your face. This is also called as face mapping. And this like ancient therapies did use it. A lot of Marmara, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, therapy uses it. Then also the acupuncture and acupressure therapies do use this face mapping of things associated with it. Okay. Now what this does is that it focuses on your face and it talks about how each zone of your face is associated with a particular body part, and probably that body part is causing an issue or a concern in your body. Now, when you look at this, so I would just want you to also quickly, I'm going to talk about it so that you are able to identify your health and probably associated body organ which might be having a problem. And you need to list that down and send it to me, because the associated emotional aspects is what we are going to talk about. So now as you look at the screen, the zones 1 and 3, which is your forehead part, this is associated to the bladder and your digestive system. So if you are feeling that your face, so your face reflects a lot about your face, and your hair reflects a lot about your health, overall body. If you're not eating well, it gets first reflected onto your face, and your hair is affected the most. So that's where we're talking about. If you feel any kind of that your forehead part of the things is like patchy, dry, or not the way you are looking for it to be healthy. A possibility is that it could be associated with your bladder and digestive system issues. Okay, so it might mean that you need to improve your elimination by drinking more water and eating more whole foods. Okay, so this is one important aspect. You need to make sure that this part is associated with your bladder and digestive system. The remedy for this would be to make sure that you are drinking more water and also eating more whole foods. Okay, that's zone 1 and 3. Zone 2, which is your nose part, the middle of the forehead between the eyebrows, it is related to the liver. So any congestions that you feel in this part of your face, that indicates probably if you are a drinker, having a lot of alcohol consumption, so it's an overconsumption. Your liver is something which needs to be taken care of. Rich foods and possibility of food allergies. So if you are having any food allergies, then you need to start looking at those aspects accordingly. So why we are doing this mapping, as I said, today's day is to identify what are your blocks and how you're able to map your blocks with other aspects, because when we start with our healing for tomorrow, we would really want to take these things forward. Then zone 4 and 10. So yes, the possibility if you, of your nose blocks could be associated with some liver aspects, or a food allergy or lactose intolerance. So these are multiple aspects, and one of these could probably be associated with it. And when there is a liver blockage, and when we talk tomorrow, so liver is very closely near to one of your solar plexus chakra, and that is something which needs to be worked upon. So I want each one of you to really do it. I know it's a little writing and a little heavy for you today in terms of what we are talking, but believe me, this will help you to get your healings done faster in the next second, third, fourth, fifth day, and make sure you send that across to me. Because when you identify this, I know which associated chakra, which is the energy centers in your body, needs to be worked upon. Then zone 4 and 10, the ears are a highly sensitive area related to the kidneys. So if you notice that your ears are very hot, or you might be stressing them out, drink plenty of plain water and cut down on caffeine and alcohol. Okay, so zone 4 and 10 associated with your ears. Zone 5 and 9. So 5 and 9 is your cheeks. So they give an accurate glimpse into your respiratory distress. So in case if you feel that your cheeks are not like the way you are looking for it to be plain and glowing and everything, then that needs to be worked accordingly, is with your respiratory distress. Suffering from allergies, generally experience fine, broken capillaries or congestion in this area. Yes, Veena, I will send it. I will be sharing the recording, so you can go through the recording as well. So I would prefer to do that in this case for the healing part. So zone 5 and 9 is more associated with your respiratory. So you know that this is a problem associated in your body. Zone 6 and 8. So the eyes are truly a window. So your eyes and under your eyes reflects your health, and it is very closely associated with kidneys. So as I said, if a lot of you have dark circles under your eyes, possibility is that your kidneys need to be worked upon. It may not necessarily be a physical issue. The emotional aspect of it needs to be worked upon with where your kidneys are associated with. Okay. So dark circles often hereditary, and it could also be possibility of a dehydration and poor elimination from your body. So make sure that you work out along with that. Zone 7, which is your nose part, and it indicates the heightened blood pressure or the early stages of rosacea. So congestion around this or around the upper lip can occur. So you need to make sure that the kind of cosmetics that you're using, of course, you need to avoid that. But then this is the area which needs to be worked upon for yourself. Then we have zone 11 and 13. So if you have extensive dental surgery done, you might notice a breakout under your jawline, so near the ear. So if you feel any concerns or issues in this part of the ear, it might be associated with your dental aspects of things. Then zone 12, it talks about breakouts or unusual hair growth can indicate hormonal imbalances in your body, and it could possibly be because of stress. So in the cases of women, it could be because of premenstrual breakouts, and could be a lot of hormonal changes happening. Zone 14, which is near your neck area. So that talks about your skin is very fragile over there. So you need to also look at it, what it is and how much it is being dry or aspects of things. So you need to, of course, keep your body hydrated to make sure that the skin is really working perfectly fine. So Vanita, I have a dry skin on the overall space. Is it not limited, and a little bit of tan on the T zone? So what would it be for me? Not okay. So if you have an overall dry skin, as I mentioned, the overall dry skin would be associated with unexpressed or unacknowledged anger. Okay, so uneven skin tone. Again, uneven skin tone is also associated with suppressed anger, distress, and unacknowledged anger aspect of things. And for your hair fall, it will be more with the stress and with mistrust of the process of your life. Okay, so I see based on your types of skin is not so oily skins are still better because they are not causing any issues to you, and your skin needs to be hydrated. So that's something which really needs to be worked upon on those aspects. So I think from an oily skin perspective, I at least in the list that I have for each one of you, none of you have mentioned that you're facing any problems. So if Diksha, if you have specific problem, please let me know and we can work it out. But mostly for an oily skin, not major issues or concerns. Yes, Sakshi, you may not have, if you do not have the dental issues associated, then it's more of an emotional aspect of things which needs to be worked around with. And in our tomorrow's session, we are going to focus around the specific chakras, because as I said, these are different zones which talk about possibility of a physical health issue. But if you are not able to get a physical health issue associated with that particular body part, then it is the closest chakra, the energy center, the emotions which need to be worked upon. And in our tomorrow's session, we are gonna go to that aspect of mapping and healing. Yes, Saili, if that's the case, you need to identify which part of your face you have the acne. And then that is the typical body part which would have the issue. And as I said, it does not mean that you already have physical issues materialized. What we are trying to map it is also with the emotional issue associated with it. So today what we have done is we have understood what are the emotional causes of possibility of your skin and the hair, looking at this table. And at your face, if you feel that there are acne, pimples, or a lot of you said dry face, oily skin, and some patches, then you need to find out which part of that zone do you have the particular patch. Write down that zone and the associated body part of it, because this will help us in our tomorrow's session to figure out which chakra is that you would need your healing with. Okay, so when you are having red patches on your hand when exposed to dust or sun, it is more of an emotional aspect where we are talking about redness or rashes, which is associated more with anxiety and fear. So that's where it would be associated with. So Amita and Aditi, as I mentioned, your part of this zone is the 13, 12, 11, which will be more associated with the dry lips aspect. So it would be associated with possibility of blood pressure possibility is what I'm saying. It could also be in hormonal imbalance. It could be associated with the dental aspect of things. So the chin part that we are talking about is your 12, which is possibility of hormonal issues, Manali. Yeah. So just doing a quick time check. Yeah, we are already at 9:45. Yeah, I understand that today it might be a little deep dive because we started off with the introduction and set of things. So for today, this is what we are doing, because I would really want you to go ahead. I will be uploading this recording and I'll be broadcasting the link so that you guys can just go ahead and have a quick check and map once again your skin and your hair related issues with this particular cause or with the face mapping, because then this will help us to work out with our healing sessions that we are starting with tomorrow. Because today, once we identify what your causes are, then tomorrow, as I mentioned in this particular slide, that we are going to work towards your group distance healing, mudra healing, working towards your affirmations, creative visualizations as we progress in our part of the session. So any questions? So were you all able to map at least to one such emotional issue or a face mapping with whatever you're facing? If you are able to just type yes. Okay, great. Sakshi, Anju, Archana, Ruchi, Bhagyalakshmi, fantastic. Good, Devi Bala, Isha, Dina. Great. So Diksha, I will make a Facebook group. I'm not gonna make any of the WhatsApp group because from a privacy perspective, I need to make sure that everybody is comfortable with it. So no WhatsApp group. I am going to do more of WhatsApp broadcasting. If there are any tips and tricks, I will send it across to all of you, and I'll invite you to a Facebook group. So people who are on Facebook and would want to join it are more than welcome to join it to discuss and share it. And it definitely will not be like a marketing base for all of you. So it's more about knowledge sharing and taking things forward. Great. Great. Thanks a lot, Priya. So let me know if you have any questions, because I will be online for some time. But with this, we are completing a session for today. Yes. So zone 7, which is near your nose part, it is like a possibility of blood pressure. Stress is the other area that is going to be the case with Ruchi, with Zuri, zone 7. So yes, Ketki, if it's thyroid, it's a neck area, which is a throat chakra, and tomorrow we are gonna work with it. Yes, Sakshi, in case if you need personal sessions, please reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to help each one of you professionally for the personal sessions. But as I mentioned, as a part of group session, this is what it's gonna be there. Wow, great, Priya. Good to hear that it's boosting your confidence. Yes, Devi Bala. So today, the idea was to just identify your blocks. In day 2, 3, 4, 5, we are working on to removing the blocks and taking your energies, shifting to the other part. Because as I mentioned, more 90% of us are really not even aware of what these issues are from an emotional perspective. Physically, yes, you go and visit the doctor, they let you know that take this medication, this is possibility a dermatology issue, and take these things. But from an emotional perspective, you need to work more deeper within yourself. So today you don't have to do anything with your blockages. Just identify, write it down. And tomorrow when we are getting into our session, we'll go into deep dive of removing the blockages and working on the healing aspect of things. Great. And I would want each one of you to share this onto WhatsApp to me so that tomorrow when we're doing the healings, I am able to guide each one of you. Great. Thank you, Tarannum, Sarita. Loved it. Great. So we are done with our session for today. So if people want to exit, they can. And people who will want to stay here for any questions, I'm here for another couple of minutes and then we'll take it. Yes, Bhavna, it was an informative session for each one of you. Taranum, I would be sending the recording because today we have just worked on identifying what the possible emotional blockages could be and what body part could be associated with it. So tomorrow is where we are gonna start our magic of healing. Yes, Ashwini, whatever you have identified as your blockages, please go ahead and send it across to me because that will help me for tomorrow's session when I guide you. Great. Thanks a lot, Sakshi. You enjoyed it. Fantastic. You were able to identify blockages. Good, Amita and Aditi. And even after working through it, if you identify some more things which you probably were not able to get in, go back, listen to the recording and send me the questions if you have any. Great. So it's nice connecting with each one of you. Have a good day, good night, good evening, and the rest of the day. Take care. And let's connect tomorrow for the power packed healing sessions based on what you have identified as your blocks today. So let's go ahead and do that. So take care. I am disconnecting the session now. And in case of any questions, revert back to me on the WhatsApp number mentioned on the screen. Thank you, everybody. Take care.